Right now, AI agents are out there booking meetings, writing code, and analyzing data, all while we're doing other things. And no, this isn't some far off sci fi concept, it's happening today. But here's the thing most people get wrong: the AI you use every day, like a simple chatbot, that's not an AI agent. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the actual blueprint for these incredible systems. Let's get into it.
All right, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away. The tools you're probably using, things like ChatGPT, are not AI agents. Thinking they are is a huge misconception. And honestly, understanding that difference is the very first step to unlocking a whole new level of automation and, yeah, serious productivity.
Let's make this super clear with an example. Imagine you want to book a flight. If you ask a language model, it'll act like a helpful researcher. It'll give you instructions, suggest some websites. Basically, it gives you a to-do list. But an AI agent, it's your personal travel assistant. It doesn't just talk, it acts. It goes out, searches for the flights, compares the options, asks you which one you prefer, and then, this is the key part, it actually books the ticket for you. One gives you information, the other gets the job done.
So, what is an AI agent really? Here's the official definition. It's a system that uses a language model to hit a goal you give it. But pay close attention to the verbs here. It's not just about responding. It reasons, it plans, and most importantly, it executes actions out in the real world. It's an active player, not just a passive source of information. Which, of course, brings up the million-dollar question, right? If these agents are so much more than just a language model, what are they actually made of? What's going on under the hood? The easiest way to think about it is to imagine a person. Every single AI agent is built from four core parts. First, you've got the brain. That's the language model that does all the thinking and reasoning. Then you need hands and senses. These are the tools that let it actually interact with the world. Of course, it needs a memory, so it can learn and remember things. And finally, you have the nervous system, which is the orchestration layer that pulls everything together and decides what to do next. Okay, so let's start building our agent. We're going to dive into those first three core components: the brain, the hands, and the memory. These are really the fundamental building blocks you can't do without. First up, the brain. And this is so important to get. The language model is not the agent. By itself, a model like GPT-4 or Gemini is kind of like a genius brain in a jar. It's incredibly smart, but it's stuck. It can't do anything. It only becomes a real reasoning engine when you hook it up to all the other parts. And what's cool is you get to pick the brain that's right for the job. For most everyday tasks, you'll probably grab a big, general-purpose model like GPT-4o. But hey, if you just need to do something simple, like sorting thousands of customer support tickets, a smaller, faster model is actually a better choice. And for really heavy-duty stuff like complex coding or scientific research, you'd use a specialized model built for deep reasoning. Okay, our agent has a brain. Now we need to give it a way to interact with the world, a way to see and act. That is where tools come in. You can think of tools as the agent's superpowers. They're the bridge between its internal thoughts and the outside world. The first kind of tool is an extension. And really, that's just a way of saying you're plugging your agent into services that already exist. You can give it access to a weather service, a flight booking system, or even a payment processor. The agent then learns how and when to use these tools to get what it needs. The second type is called functions, and this is where things get really powerful and also really secure. These are custom pieces of code that you write and you control. The agent can decide it needs to use your function, but the code itself runs securely inside your own system. This is perfect for giving it access to your company's private data or business rules. And the third type of tool is data stores. This is basically the agent's private library. You can connect it to your company's databases, your internal wiki, even a folder full of PDFs. This allows the agent to look up specific, factual information. It's a technique called RAG, so you know it's working with the truth, not just making stuff up. So we've got a brain and we've got tools. But what separates a basic bot from a truly intelligent assistant is memory. Without memory, every single conversation starts from square one. It's like talking to someone with amnesia. You have to explain who you are and what you want every single time. It's frustrating and not very smart. And just like us, agents have different kinds of memory. They have short-term memory, just to keep track of the current conversation. They have long-term memory to store things like your preferences, remembering that you always prefer an aisle seat. And then they have working memory, which is what they use to pull all that information together when they're trying to make a decision. All right, you've got the brain, the hands, and the memory. But how do you get all those pieces to work together in an intelligent way? Well, that is the art of orchestration. This is the final, crucial component that turns a pile of parts into a smart, functioning system.
This orchestration layer is essentially the agent's central nervous system. It's the internal logic, the little voice in its head that's constantly figuring out what to do next to achieve its goal. This is the magic that makes the system truly agentic, that ability to think and act for itself.
One of the most common ways this works is a simple but really powerful loop called REACT. It stands for Reason and Act. It's just what it sounds like. First, the agent reasons about what it should do. Then it acts by picking a tool. It observes what happens. And then, based on that new information, it reasons all over again, repeating that cycle until the job's done.
Now, you can build these systems in two main ways. You can have a single agent, which is kind of like a lone expert, simple and really effective for a specific task. Or, for more complex problems, you can build a whole team of agents. You can have a manager agent that breaks down a project and then delegates the work to specialist agents, like one for writing and one for data analysis.
Okay, that's enough theory. How do you actually start building one of these? Let's get practical, because there are 4 clear paths you can take to get started today. And it doesn't matter if you're a pro coder or have never written a line of code in your life. The easiest way in is with one-prompt agents, which is all about getting really good at writing prompts. A step up from there are workflow-based agents that use visual drag-and-drop tools. These are amazing for automating business tasks. If you are a coder, there are coding agents that can help you write and debug code. And for the pros who want total control, there are agentic frameworks for building anything you can imagine from the ground up. So which path should you take? Well, if you're a no-code user or you're just looking to automate your business, paths 1 and 2 are your new best friends. If you're a programmer or a developer who wants to build something custom, you'll want to jump into paths 3 and 4. The point is, there's an entry point here for everybody. And that's pretty much it. Everything we've talked about boils down to this one number, 4. You now know the 4 core components that make every single AI agent tick: the brain for thinking, the tools for acting, the memory for learning, and the orchestration to make it all work together. So here's the key takeaway. You have the blueprint now. You get the fundamental difference between a chatbot that just talks and an agent that actually does something. You're ready to move beyond simple prompts and start thinking about how to build systems that can genuinely act as an extension of you. So I'll leave you with this final thought. You've got the blueprint. You know how the pieces fit together. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?